She thought it was a good idea and agreed that word would get around no matter how many people saw the actual deliberations. As Mark pulled through the heavy gate into Silver Hills, he glanced at his watch. He needed to tell Gunny that Rob wouldn't be able to go to the ranch with the attack force, but it was getting fairly late, and he figured the old Marine would be in the sack by now. It could wait until morning. When he pulled the Blazer behind the house, he was surprised to see a group of men sitting at the picnic tables. Gunny was one of them. Jim, Mike, Chaparro, Ted, and Ralph were with him. "Looks like another meeting, sweetheart," Jess said. "I'll see you later." "What's up, guys?" Mark asked. "I picked the 2 teams who are going to do the recon. Jim, Mike, and Ted are leaving in the morning. You, Chaparro, and Ralph will relieve them in 2 days. I know these are new groups for you all, but this job ain't the place for women and kids. If there's a screw-up out there, our plan is ruined at best, and if worse comes to worst, somebody might get dead." The men all nodded their heads to signify they understood the seriousness of the situation. "Now, I want to go over how I want you all to operate out there. Jim and Mark will be in charge of their respective groups. I want you—" "Excuse me, Gunny," Mark interrupted. "But shouldn't Chaparro be in charge of our group? He has military experience, after all." "I already talked to Chaparro and explained to him that you have more recent experience. He doesn't have a problem with it, and neither should you. Besides," Chaparro said as he laughed, "I was just a grease monkey." "Anyways," Gunny began again, "I want you all to use the 4-hour shift rotation like we did when we watched the roads. The camps are to be cold, no exceptions. That means no cooking of any kind. If someone catches a whiff of cooking food, the whole jig might be up. And you'll sleep under the stars, no tents for someone to see. If when it starts raining, you can string up a tarp, but it is to come down as soon as the rain stops. Be careful with your field glasses and don't let the sun reflect off of them. Chaparro told me you watched the compound from a small hill a little over 300 yards from the fence," the old man said, looking at Mark. He pulled a small hand-drawn map from a folder. Mark was amazed at the accuracy of the diagram. Gunny could have been a professional map maker in a bygone era. "Chaparro said you parked the truck here and walked into here and set up your OP. That's right. Jim, I want you to take this map, park, and set up in the same place they did last time. You'll take the MZB truck and cover it up real good, far enough off the road that no one can find it. If more than 2/3 of the men leave the compound on a raid, then whoever is due for OP duty next is to come back. That way whoever it is will have had at least 4 hours of rest." "Okay, Gunny," Jim affirmed. "If in 2 days go by and nothing happens, I'll send Mark's group out to relieve you. At first light, send one of your men back to the truck. He'll meet Mark's group so they know everything's all right. When Mark gets to the OP, you can head back. Bring back the truck Mark and his guys drove over and leave the MZB truck hidden. I don't want to drive in and out so much we start making a trail that someone can see. You should scruff up any tire tracks near the road, too. Everybody understand?" Heads bobbed up and down around the table. "All right. Your main job is to watch for a large group to leave on a raiding party. I'd like to wait for 50 or 60 men to leave. That way we'll outnumber them 3 or 4 to 1. Until that happens, I want you to watch and take notes about everything you see. Try to figure out how many people are there, how many of them are in John's group, and how many are captives. Make notes about how they work their guard duty and schedules, the weapons you see, what the daily routine is, and anything else, no matter how unimportant it may seem. If in a group of 45 or more leave out for a raid, normally early in the morning according to Susie, I want you to send 2 men back to me as soon as they leave. The one left will continue to watch the compound. You'll have the portable CB with you, and I'll call you on it before we come in. I had Dwight fix it up so you can listen in on an earplug. I won't call before 0200, so you don't have to worry about it until then. We'll wait and hit them at first light. Hopefully they'll all be asleep. Rob and I will look at the intelligence you all bring back at each shift change and see if we need to modify our plan." "Gunny, about Rob, Greg said he couldn't come on the raid with us. Why the hell not?" "Greg thinks it might ruin his chance to get elected." "I reckon it could," Gunny said. "I could still use his help on the planning end. Greg said that wouldn't be a problem. Good. Once we take the compound, we'll use their own defenses against the raiders when they return. Now, does anyone have any questions? No one said anything. All right then, Gunny said. Jim, you and your boys better hit the hay. You leave at 0400. Just one more thing. He took a deep breath. This is some serious shit. A lot more serious than anything we've done up to this point. Those boys are trained and motivated. If you screw up, you're probably going to take a long dirt nap. But if you do live, I'll make you wish you hadn't. Got it? Aye, aye, Gunny, Jim said seriously. Mark half expected him to salute. Mark couldn't tell if the old sergeant was impressed or put off by Jim's response. He wheeled around and marched off toward his house without saying another word.